the few slides from me really are just to have a think about some of those factors that we take into account when considering how much to put aside for our retirement. I've included an example as well, but it's very much just for a very rough indication, because there's such a wide range of factors that each person is going to be going to have to save different amounts depending on your own personal circumstances. So these factors, how much should we be saving? Well, it's very much going to depend on how long until you need it. How long is there until you retire? How much income are you going to need in retirement? We've heard a little bit about the living wage, 16 or 17,000. Another rough rule of thumb that is often used is achieving somewhere between a half and 2/3 of your pre-retirement salary in retirement. That's the aim for some people. How long are you going to live in retirement? We don't know. And do we want to know? I'm not sure. But either way, it's useful to have an idea, because that's how long our savings are going to need to stretch over, and we wouldn't want to run out and outlive our savings. How much can you afford to save? For many people, I think this will be a primary factor in what they can put away. And we've heard it a couple of times already, and we'll probably keep making this point. The sooner you can start saving, the better. It doesn't matter if it's at a level that's going to give you the retirement of your dreams. Just starting something at any time is better than putting it off. The longer you leave it, the more it will cost you. And also taking into account what other sources of income you might have in retirement. We've heard a little bit about the state pension. If you own a property, that possibly you can take money out of that at retirement by moving to a smaller place. There may be investments. Some people potentially could receive an inheritance. You'll see I haven't put winning the lottery on there, because perhaps it should go without saying, but actually a recent survey found that 13% of people were relying on a lottery win to afford a comfortable retirement. So as a financial advisor, I'd have to say that is not reliable. Do not use that plan. It's 44 million to 1 is the odds of winning the jackpot. So looking at that first point then, how long until we need these savings? How old are you now, and when are you thinking of retiring? That's your savings term. Do you think you'll retire at state pension age? And do you know what your state pension age is? It's changed quite a lot over the last few years. Currently, these are the ages, but we know these are going to increase. The legislation isn't in place yet, but it will happen because we're all living longer. Could you afford to retire before state pension age? If you are, then you'll need to plan that extra sum to cover the gap between retiring and when your state pension age starts. So these are, I don't have answers for you, these are all things for you to start thinking about now and working out what your retirement plan might look like, and sort of starting thinking about your level of savings, and are you saving enough, and could you add a bit more to that? How long will we live? Well, like I said, we don't really know, but it's useful to have an idea. So for females aged 55 now, they are expected on average to live until they're 88. So if you're thinking of retiring at 55 and you're female, your savings and workplace pensions, occupational pensions, in addition to the state pension, will have to last you until you're 88. But that is just an average. There's one in 4 females aged 55 are going to survive until, or expected to survive until 95. And 1 in 10 will survive until they're 100. So if you're thinking of retiring at 55, these savings and pensions are going to have to really last for 40, 45 years. And it's quite often the case that people underestimate their life expectancy. And there's a real risk of that, because if you outlive your savings and pensions, there's going to be potentially financial hardship in those later years of retirement. Looking next then at how much we'll need, well, this is going to be different for everybody. It depends on your retirement plans and the standard of living that you want to achieve in retirement. I've put together an example here based on an average earner of, well, the average earnings in the UK is £27,000 a year. So aiming to achieve 2/3 of that, 18,000 a year in retirement. How might we build that? Well, the state pension will provide some of it. and Sharon's already spoken to us a little bit about that. It should provide about £9,000 or £9,300 a year if you've got a full national insurance record. So we always suggest that people request a state pension forecast. It will give you an idea at this point of what your state pension might be in the future. There are some changes in the Isle of Man. So this is the state pension as of April next year. As Sharon said, some people might get a bit more, some people might get a bit less. But after April, request your state pension forecast and it'll give you an idea. It'll give you an idea if you've got some gaps in your national insurance record, because there may be options to top up your national insurance record. And if you've paid some national insurance in the UK and some in the Isle of Man, you'll be getting a pension from the UK and the Isle of Man. And there may be options there to improve that. And if you can improve it by making voluntary national insurance contributions, that's something to have a think about as well. So we'll assume that the state pension will provide roughly half of this, £18,000 in this example. So the shortfall of the other £9,000, that's what we need to make up from our savings and personal pensions and workplace pensions. There's lots of ways you can take income in retirement, and we'll hear a bit more about that from the other speakers. But if you want to achieve a guaranteed income that increases with inflation when you are 65, the sum that you need to accumulate to secure that guaranteed inflation-linked income would be £260,000. That's the size of the pot you need to accumulate. If you don't want the inflation linking, you wouldn't need such a big pot. Or if you didn't want the guaranteed income, then again, it would be a different amount. But in this case, for guaranteed income for life that increases with inflation, that's the size of the pot that we want to achieve. If you want to retire before 65, then you would need a bigger pot. So how much do we need to put away to get that size of pot? It sort of depends on where you're starting from. If you're starting from nothing, these are the figures. If you've got 35 years to retirement and you invest £288 a month, then we're assuming there's some investment growth of 4% a year. But if you save that amount and it achieves that investment growth over 35 years, your pot will be worth £260,000. It will cost you £121,000, that's contributions, but with the investment growth over that period, you will have a pot of £260,000. If you've only got 25 years to retirement, then the savings level is higher, £510 a month every month for 25 years. So with the investment growth, that will give you your £260,000. It will have cost you more. Your total contributions over 25 years will be £153,000. So leaving it 10 years later has cost you a little bit more. And again, if you've only got 15 years to retirement, the total cost to you is more again, because there's less time for that investment growth to really kick in and support your savings. So really, from our point of view, we know that workers aren't saving enough. If you're looking in the leaflet there, we can see, compared on these figures or the examples that are in here, to achieve a pot of 200,000 or 260,000, we've got some examples, but actually what people are saving is far below that. So what we'd say, don't put off, if you can't afford these amounts, don't be put off. Just start saving something and don't delay, because there's a cost to delay. It will cost you more in the long run. Just start somewhere. And really the final point from me is perhaps undertake a little pension health check now, sort of take stock of where you are, have a think about what your retirement looks like, the standard of living you want, and are you on track? There's lots of online calculators that can help you forecast this, and of course a financial planner will be able to help you as well. But don't just sort of stop there, review it regularly, make sure you stay on track, and do you need to adjust your plans, and make sure you can achieve that sort of retirement plan that you're thinking about now. So that's all I need to say. Thank you.